Hello and welcome to the Old Lumens channel again. Today I have two of the Gen 3 Maglites. These are the 3D and the 2D. They're the ones that are supposed to have the higher lumen value. I got both of them at a pretty good deal, just really basically for testing and checking them out. So the packaging, of course, is a little different now. It's a white background, Maglite 3rd generation multi-mode electronic switch. The light for all your needs. Ultra bright 524 lumens. That's on the 2D. On the 3D, it is 625 lumens. Okay. It has an echo mode and on time. It says the run time is 69 hours on probably low, on the lowest setting, and on the 3D it's 117 hours on the lowest setting. The little details on the side panel here are 366 meters, 524 lumens, 33,573 CD, waterproof to drop proof to 1 meter from 1 meter. High runtime on high is 6 hours and 30 minutes. Low is 20 hours, and on eco mode 69 hours. Let's see what eco mode is. The 3D says that it's 406 meter as far as distance for throw, 625 lumens, 41,200 CD. It's also waterproof, water resistant, not only waterproof, but drop to 1 meter. 16 hours on high, 77 hours on low, and 117 hours on this eco mode. I have to read up on that. Then of course all the fine print on the back. Well, I'm going to take these guys out of the packaging, and I also have a regular 2D LED Maglite. This would be 2nd generation. So we'll take a look at that too and compare. Okay, now I have the 2D out, and I'm comparing it to a Gen 2 2D LED flashlight. Okay, if you'll notice, there are some major differences. First of all is the length. Overall length, the new 2D and this old 2D has the head turned all the way down. Okay, I don't have any guts in it either. It's just, I don't have a reflector, the switch, the tail cap. It does have the spring in it, but it's been gutted, so it's a bare 2D. Okay, but I can tell right now that the two heads are different in shape. If you look at if you can look at that, the head on this one, on the this new 2D, is sort of tapered more. Overall, it actually looks like it's narrower, but let's see if we compare. No, it's the same that way. All it is, and the reflector looks the same, but anyways, it looks like it's narrower, just appearance-wise, because this taper is more pronounced, where you have more of a bell shape with the old 2Ds, and now you have more of a smooth taper. I sort of like that. I really sort of like the way that it looks. Also, the button is much smaller than the button used to be. More flush to the light, or set down into the light. The knurling looks to be the same. Tail cap looks to be the same. And the bezel appears to be the same as well. But there's no. See how the old one had the ribs right here, and the new one doesn't have that anymore. The cat's trying to get into the video, so. But I'm not letting her. Anyways, this is the 2D, and this is the 3D. Just same look, same appearance. It's just one's longer than the other. Okay. I don't have a 3D old style to compare. The reflectors look to be the same, and the LED is an XML2 LED. That one looks sort of funny. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's sort of set crosswise in there. That's pretty strange. Well, we're going to be tearing the whole thing down, so we'll look at it in a minute. Anyways, the other thing is the weight. Now, this is a stripped 2D. Okay, like I said, it doesn't have the reflector, it doesn't have the guts in it. It still weighs 11.1 ounces, and this weighs 10.4 ounces. Okay, I noticed that the minute I picked it up, it's so much more lightweight, but that's because of the overall length. They must have done a lot of drastic stuff with the switch to be able to, yeah, they sure have. You can't see it, and I'll show you, but they sure have made a big difference in the switch to be able to get the weight out of it. Very interesting. All right, I'm going to pause here for a minute. Okay, so for a couple of little specs here, overall length on a 2D, I'm just doing some guesstimating here. Looks to be about 9.5 inches on the new 2D, where the old 2D is about 10.25 inches long, so that's quite a bit of difference. The new 3D looks to be just about 11.75 inches long. I don't have an old 3D to check. Weight on the new 2D is 10.4 ounces. Weight on the new 3D is only 11.6 ounces. That's a big difference. That right there, I think, will be a selling point for people, that they're not quite as heavy. Now, with, you know, you still got to put batteries in them. It's still going to add the weight to them, but I think that will help. The diameter, or the, like I say, the overall diameter of the head is the same. It looks like the exact same reflector that's been in the other ones. Okay, I'm going to start doing a little bit of a tear down here, and then I'll come back and show you what's going on with that. Okay, I have to come back to this. This is really interesting. No longer can you screw the head off. The head does not unscrew. Right here, if you can see, that's the extent of your distance that you can move the LED, the reflector to the LED, but you can twist all you want to and it doesn't go anywhere after that. So you have just that much throw. It's about a half a turn, okay, and that goes from spot to flood, and that's it. You can't get the head off. So they've done some major modifications. So this would be very interesting to tear this apart. Okay, this stuff is pretty wild. I just gotta stop in the middle of this. I couldn't turn the head off, and there's a reason, because the head does not screw on. It's only held on by a couple O-rings. Okay, very interesting. This is the back side of the new reflector, and I don't know if you can see this, but there are little teeth all the way around here. This reflector has a molded in ring with teeth in it. Okay, that's for a gear, and the other side of that gear is here on the body of the top of the body, and see if you can see this. See that, how that ring moves right there? That's a geared or a toothed ring right there, and that they have the threads cut here, just like you'd use. The only thing I can think of right off the top of my head is like a pair of binoculars, how they move the same way for adjusting your vision. But this is something totally different. This is a totally different design. They have a locking ring behind it, or a snap ring behind it, to stop it on the downstroke, and then it'll go up that far. Now the upstroke is stopped by the head itself. There's two O-rings in here, and looks like another piece in here that stops the head from going too far, so that ring can't spin totally off. So they've used this geared mechanism for the reflector to get the reflector to move up and down versus against the LED. Very interesting design. Not necessarily, I mean, it's very new for Maglite. I'm really surprised, and it's kind of nice to see them moving forward. So I'm going to continue on here and see what else I can do. Okay, I got a little more here now. I've got the head off. There's where this geared section is here. There's a snap ring. It does appear to be metal, but very thin, and it's like a double C-ring almost, and you have to pry out like the top edge starting right here. You have to pry out one edge and work that up and work it all the way around, because you got like 2 turns of that metal in there, and that's at the base of this. And then there's an O-ring here. There's a this very thin O-ring right here. And the head has a lip down inside, and of course that's what stops the head from going too far, is it hits up against that ring in here. Actually, it hits up against the O-ring in there, and stops it from going too far. So, totally interesting the way it's done. You can see inside the LED assembly there. They do have a piece of metal which is encapsulating and goes all the way out to the body. So they're drawing heat out to the body. Okay, that's a one piece, it looks like, and it looks like it's a pretty tight fit. And it looks like they've redone this whole switch assembly and inner pill assembly. Okay, so that does it. It's not copper or anything like that. It's probably just pressed metal, but it does go all the way out to the head, or I mean to the body, and touches the body, so it's dissipating heat out to the body. So I can see that they've made some dramatic changes in the way they've done things, and I'm looking forward to getting this switch out. I just don't know if I'll be able to, because they probably changed the screw in there to something else besides a T8, but we'll see. Okay, I've gotten the switch cover off, and it looks like that switch and feels like that switch is a momentary switch. So that's something else that's interesting. I don't know yet how I'm going to get that apart. There's no hole in the center to be able to get the switch out. I bet the switch must turn out. There's still whoop, here we go. There you go, that's how, right there. The whole button just fell out once I took that off, and it looks like that's probably not a T8. It's even smaller than it's even smaller. I don't know what size this is going to be. This is going to be probably something that I don't have, and it's going to take me a while to figure out, so we'll keep looking at it here. Oh yeah, thank goodness. There you go. That is a T8 by 40, and it slips right in. I mean, and that's the one with the shaft the shaft is a little bigger than the head, and it slides right in and locks in place. So it looks like at least they haven't changed that, and actually they made it much easier to get to remove. Major changes, major design changes in this switch. I mean, it's a big deal. This plastic is now glass-filled nylon. I don't even know if it's nylon, but it's glass-filled. It's for a higher temperature. It's a high-temp plastic, so it won't melt. The switch is in sections. You take off the top section, that's where the button came through. Here's the middle section, and it shows where you go through to get the screw out. And then this section here has the driver in it. Okay, I believe that's the driver. We're going to find out. I can see right there, there's a contact plate. Okay, they're using a contact plate for it instead of springs and all that. It's actually a piece of spring metal. And then we're going to try to get this driver out. Okay, here we go. I'll do some stills of this, but this is the driver board right there. Very interesting. I don't know if you can see much. I don't know if it's focusing enough for you, but I will get some stills for you. Okay guys, sorry about the memory card full deal. I ran out of memory. Only got a 2 gig card in the camera. But I'll go back to this switch again because I don't know how much you got. This is a Maglite, the Maglite switch assembly, and it has a driver in it. And see if I can put it back together again or not. Anyways, the top part of the switch right here where you'd press the button, and then there's a metal contact plate in here on a circuit board. It's just a little pressy contact plate. Okay, so it's like a momentary, basically it's a momentary switch. This is the circuit board right here. Okay, and here's the back side of the circuit board, and as I said, I'll do some stills of this. This is to me, it's fantastic. I mean, what a major jump in technology for Maglite. Here's the back side of the switch, and it holds the contacts and everything in it. These are all molded in. They're not assembled afterwards. Everything is molded in, okay? So now you're talking about robots, pick and place, and some high-tech molding, some high-tech assembly stuff, a lot different than what Maglite used to be. I mean, big time. They have jumped into the more modern age. And as I said, this plastic is for high temp. Okay, it's 10 to 1 is glass filled, might even be filled with something besides glass, but it's made for high temp. All right, I'm going to pause again here and try to get out the LED. Okay, I'm going to try to finish this up. I do have the LED assembly now, and you can see they used the assembly just like the older version 2, and they pressed it into this metal ring. It's a press fit in this metal ring. Okay, the XML2 LED is on top, and this ring is a press fit into the tube, and it is a press fit. I had to pound the heck out of it to get it out. Okay, you can see that they've knurled this or grooved this, and down inside the tube there's a ring where it sits, and that is also knurled on the inside so that the two touch each other to press together. Now, just above that, that sets down in there, okay, you know, and just above that is another one of these snap rings, and these snap rings are a real pain. This doesn't come out like the old snap ring does. This is, like I say, this is a double ring, okay, and it's very hard to get that out. I had to take it back to the vise, and I had to pop on this side and get it started, and then get a screwdriver, a very small jeweler's screwdriver along the edge, and work it up, keep working it up and around a little bit at a time to get it out. But that's what stops the LED assembly from going too far forward. To assemble this, I'd put this back in again, and then from the back side I would put this in, okay, and then when I would use something, a socket or something, to press fit it, and it would stop against that ring. Okay, to get it out I used a 15/16, okay, put it right in there, and then tapped on it to get it out of that section. There's, like I said, there's just a knurled section, about a half inch of knurled section inside the tube where that'll seat up in, and it really is a pound press fit. Okay, so what I can say from all this is they've done pretty doggone good. They've got an amazing switch assembly, new switch assembly with the electronics built into the switch. It's made out of plastic that is high temp. Okay, they've made, even though this is not brass and this is not copper, they have made a metal ring that is a press fit into the tube, so your heat's going to go out and go out through the tube and on, you know, to take heat away from the LED. So I can definitely see that this thing will probably run fine. You know, it'll probably work fine without overheating. I am amazed at the technology. The fit and finish is excellent. The tube is much thinner. It's so thin that when they cut these outer threads, these threads here, of course, are square cut threads. These outer threads, you can actually see the sort of the press from cutting. You know, you can see a little bit of the detail on the inside. The tube is so thin, but it's still sturdy. I don't think it's going to break off. It might, if you drop the head, it might snap right off there, but there's still quite a bit of aluminum there, you know. But they've really thinned out this tube. Nothing's going to fit from the old ones. You know, you can't use an old head. You can't use an old tail cap. You can't use anything from the old generations for the new. The new is totally different. Totally different Gen 3 light. And you know, I'm just saying it's really, for Maglite, this is a big deal, big change, a big game changer. If people can see what this is like, it really is a huge step forward in Maglite, and I have to congratulate them for doing a good job, because this is a really nice light. Now I'm going to try turning the 3D on and see if it actually works. Okay, I put 3 alkaline cells in this light. There's high mode. Okay, now it looks blue to you, but that's because of my camera. It's not blue. It's a very white light. It's almost a neutral white. This is in the focused for the spot, and okay, now you can see when you focus out, you see the X in here from the LED, and I'm really surprised at how that is. I don't see a lot of rings. I do see, you know, the center spot, an outer ring here, and then one at the far outside, but a lot smoother beam than some of the other ones were. That would be the flood right there, and as you draw back, of course, it just floods out, and you don't see that big, you know, black X in the center anymore. There's the tighter spot. Okay. What they say for lumens wise, I would say it's probably pretty close to what they're saying for lumens wise. I can feel it getting a little bit warm, not real warm, but just a little bit in the body. So it is transferring some heat, but it does a pretty good job of spot to flood. You know, it's not bad at all. And when you flood out, you actually get almost a square die. It's really wild how that is. It's like a rounded square die. But it's putting a lot of the light out, you know. So, but this is what I would call the center, you know, the spot for when you want a distance beam. Not bad at all. It does have 3 modes, and you have to be real quick when you turn it on. Okay, that's high and low right there, and that's echo mode. Okay, so that's a 3rd mode. It's like low, you know. It's not moonlight or anything like that. You don't want to look into it. It's still pretty bright. It's still probably 25% of what an LED would put out, you know, 20%. Memory card full again. I talk so dang much, it's ridiculous. I run my mouth like a duck's butt. So anyways, I'm done with my teardown review, and my feeling is that Maglite has stepped up to the task compared to what they've done in the past. Okay, they have made major design changes in this light. Basically, it's a new light, except for the reflector and the actual little LED assembly inside, which is still the same. It's just a total remake all the way through, and they've done some great things. I'm really impressed with what they've done to try to help with heat transfer, to make sure the switch won't melt, to make a nicer switch with a momentary and light press switch. I really like that. I don't really like how fast you have to hit it to make a change from high to low. You got to hit it quick, less than half a second. You know, tap tap, real fast. I'm not necessarily saying I like that really good, but it works. You know, with the 3D, with what it puts out for light, and what it should put out for runtime, which I'll do some runtime tests. Again, like I say, it's not blue, it's white. It's almost a neutral white. Probably at least a 1D for the XML2. It might even be into you know, a 2 something, 2B or something like that. I don't know, but at least a 1D, probably 2B or even 2C. Anyways, very impressive. I'm glad that I got them. I'm glad I got the chance to take them apart. And I'm going to put the 2D back together, and then I'm going to do beam shots. I'll also try to do some ant draws. I only have alkaline cells. I'm not buying NIMS at $10 a piece for good ones to test out the NIMS, so I'll just be doing alkaline cells, but I will do some ant draws, and I will do some beam shots. Thanks for watching.